Ladies and gentlemen, the 3 knockdown rule is in effect, and joining me is Mario Quintoris. Mario, we have a very special guest, and we're just going to give it a hint. It's the 2016 Boxing Writers Association of America Manager of the Year.
Mr. Egis Klimas. Great to see you, Egis. Egis, I want to talk about Vasil Lomachenko for a second. I mean, HBO seems to really be positioning him as their next big star, and he's really sort of carrying himself well in that role, too, being well-spoken and looking great in his last couple performances. When you speak with him, what is the game plan if you could have your in a perfect world, you'd like to see him fight how many times at this particular weight class and eventually move up to what, where he would feel comfortable? Which, by the way, the Sosa fight, that's a fun fight. That's a fun fight. That should be a television friendly. That's a solid fight.
That's gonna be a good fight. So we decided, Bob Arum probably decided we're gonna go and please Mr. Trump, because it's gonna be in Washington.
Oh, is it? If you're in Washington, okay.
Yes. So that's gonna be a good fight. That's gonna be a good fight. If it's gonna be a good fight, because when Lomachenko fought Walters, everybody was thinking Walters is the hottest guy in the division, and he just made like Walters never had the gloves on him.
Made him look like an amateur, and Walters is a guy who was shocking about that. Is a guy who's got a lot of power, but he really just sort of stole his soul and his heart in that.
He axed out.
He axed out.
He really did.
He really did. The Axeman axed out. But ultimately, where does Egis see himself settling in? To what class? How high would you think he could go?
Well, then we start talking about this upcoming fight, and this guy doesn't want. This guy wants. Salido asked crazy money from Top Rank. Top Rank agreed to pay that crazy money. Then he came back next day and he says, "No, I'm not going to fight." Corrales asked money. Looks like they were starting a settling, but then he says he doesn't want to fight Lomachenko. So it's very hard. And I start talking to Vasil about that, and he goes like, "Why don't we move to 135?" Right away.
Yeah.
To lightweight.
And today, he made a statement to all the champions at the 126 and 130 division. All the champions, he says, "You're not the champions, you're businessmen. I came to this division to prove who is a really champion, who is a loud champion is. And everybody knows who is a papi here."
Mario, last week I said it. We're talking about potential matchups for Mikey Garcia. And I don't know, maybe you could expound upon this. If there were champions, current champions at 126, who were willing, ready, and able to face Lomachenko, would he be right now at 126 and not 130?
Sure, yeah. He doesn't have a problem to make 126 he moved 130 just because he was thinking the champions at 130 not going to be hiding from him.
Right.
So looks like now we should go, we will have to move to 135.
What does he walk around at, Egis?
It was like when he was fighting 130, 126, he used to come here like 135, 136.
Wow. Because he's like a guy that looks like he's always in shape anyway.
Keep in mind, he won 2 gold medalists in Olympics, 126 and 130.
Right. Wow.
The first one was 130, then 126.
Oh, he went down as he got older. Wow.
Mario, what I loved is one of the ways he landed Lomachenko, who had worldwide interest. He literally may have had the greatest amateur career of all time. He had one loss in like 400 or 500 fights. Avenged that.
It's unbelievable.
Is basically, didn't he give you an ultimatum? Okay, if you want to be my manager, you need to get me a title shot by like my pro debut. How did you deliver that? Seriously.
That's unbelievable.
No, he didn't tell me that. He told Bob Arum. And everybody, then he came here. I introduced with everybody. I introduced with the Golden Boys. I introduced him with a Top Rank, and we were looking where to land. Who's going to be his promoter and how we're going to do that. So he already decided. After we spent a little bit of time, he says, you're going to be my manager, no questions asked. So we're going to work together. And right now, just depends on a promoter. And then we talked with Bob Arum. Everybody was thinking like he's looking like to get $1 million to sign a bonus or whatever. But he told to Bob, he says, "I'm not interested in money now. Give me a title shot, and then we'll talk about the money."
Wow.
Bob Arum, knowing Bob, he's head starts spinning right away. Kind of like, God damn, this
you want a title shot immediately?
Oh,
come on, you gotta wait, Vasil. Egis, talk to your guy. Come on.
No. Bob was very high about that. Bob was very high, and he goes, but fought like for 2 seconds. He goes like, let me tell you, I can't give you the first bout for the title, but I will deliver you a second one. And he delivered everything he said.
Wow, that's amazing. And just that attitude is what you want from your fighters, obviously, to be put in that position. With that said, and with the current landscape right now, a lot of people are saying that a Mikey Garcia would be a super fight and would probably pose the biggest challenge to Lomachenko. Do you see it that same way, and is that something that's come up or been discussed?
Listen, Lomachenko told me every day he would love to fight Mikey Garcia.
Ooh, that's. How
about Pacquiao? How realistic is that?
Well, I don't think Pacquiao can go right now down to 135, and I'm not kind of like joking or I'm trying, to be funny, but I'm very serious. Like if we can get a couple fights, 2 fights at 135, and a Pacquiao can come down to 135. Send me a contract, I'll sign it.
We'll send a message to Freddie. He was here a couple of weeks ago.
That'd be a heck of a year. You get Mikey Garcia and Pacquiao.
Freddie was joking about Lomachenko. He says to beat the Pacquiao it takes more than just to hit the tennis balls.
Oh no, he has great. I've had conversations with him. He's got a great deal of respect for Lomachenko. He talks about the best.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he loves the footwork.
You are a manager. Your job is to protect the business interest of the fighters, the fiduciary interest in many respects. Is it your view that the Russian fighters, or from that part of the world, from Lithuania, Kazakhstan, Russia, do they look at boxing more as a sport than a business as compared to, let's say, American fighters?
I don't have anybody in my working with me. Any fighter looks like a businessman. Everybody is a sportsman. They came here to fight.
Well,
money. Many times Lomachenko says, why, they don't have money? Take from my purse, give them the money, let's fight.
That is not an American attitude.
That's your
that is
job
not an American attitude.
Exactly. Vasil, wait a minute, Vasil. No, let's
imagine LeBron saying that, they don't have enough money, take some of my money.
That's what he did. That's what, hold on a second. Who was...
Nick Walters wanted extra money. And weren't you guys going to make a bet? Didn't Vasil basically tell Carl Moretti, all right, he wants $300,000 extra more. Fine, I'll put it up from my purse that if you beat me, you get 300 large.
Which, by the way, is very fair.
Yeah, that's prize fighting.
If you want some incentive,
right?
And that's very. He doesn't need to do that, obviously. But that if you need to sweeten the deal, it's a perfect way to do it.
Yeah, and then the press conference, Martinez took a fight, and at press conference he starts to be funny. He looked at Lomachenko and he says, "I think that offer is on the table for $300,000. And Lomachenko jumped in here and says, yes, it's on the table, but you have to put your $300,000 on the table.